Welcome back to GoodKnitKisses. I'm your host Kristen, and today we're going to work on the drop stitch scarf. This is a sample right here. We're going to show you how to make it. It's 4 stitches wide, and you can use more stitches by simply connect the panels together, but I was able to make this and make an infinity, connect it together, and I'll show you how to do that. We're going to start with a slip knot, whichever way is easiest for you, and I have videos that will show this. If you are left-handed, you're going to start on your very rightmost peg, and you'll see why in a minute. It'll be easier for purling. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to stick it on my left peg. So we're going to put this on here, put it on, and simply tighten it up just a little bit. We're going to E-wrap all the way around the pegs, all 4, and then go back around again. And then just simply take your tool or use your fingers and lift the bottom loop over the top. And we're using a jumbo size yarn, or you can use that would be a number 7, or you can use a number 6, or a couple of the super bulkies. Now push that all the way down. And now we're going to work on our next row. We just cast it on. We're going to wrap around in an E-wrap fashion all the way around each peg. So we've got 4. We're going to lift the bottom loops over the top to knit over, and now we've got our first row in E-wrap. We're going to work our way to the left in a purl. So for right-handed users, it's easier to work in this direction, and left just go opposite. So we are putting the working strand underneath our loop. Pull that loop up from the bottom like you're purling from the ocean, and lift the old loop off and put the new one on. And I do have videos to show these in a slower motion. Okay, now we are on our next row. We're going to wrap around twice in an E-wrap fashion every single peg. So all 4 pegs will get 2 E-wraps around. So you're going to have 3 wraps on each peg. Now we're going to lift the bottom loop over both top loops. Go ahead and do that on all 4 pegs. And you can connect extra zippy looms or use this on another loom and do as many as you like. Now you're going to take the very top loop of those 2 and just lift it off. Pop it right off. Yep, you're okay. Okay, pull those on off. And this is what's going to create your drop stitch. Now when you pull this on down, it's going to create that elongated stitch. Now we're just going to simply go back and do another purl row, and this is going to lock in that extra long loop. Now you can push your loops up and pull them off by using your fingers or using the tool. I was showing it with the tool, but honestly it's easier with the purl with your hands on this particular loom. So just lift that bottom loop off, put the new one on, and then kind of pull your tension a little bit. You don't want it too tight, but that very first stitch, make sure and keep it nice and loose so that everything's even. And then you're just going to repeat this process with the double E-wraps all the way across. So now that you've got that locked into position, you just keep repeating that over and over. So we're going to double E-wrap pegs 1 through 4. And then you're going to lift the bottom loop over the top. That locks that in. And lift the very top loop right off. So once you've done this drop stitch row, you really need to lock in the long drop stitches by putting in a purl row. So if you decide that you need to stop working on your project, you really need to just do this next row here. So when we put our purl strand here, our working strand here, we want to make sure and give it a little bit of slack here so on the side it doesn't make it too short. And you'll be able to tell, just kind of tug on that back knitting that's coming off. Just make that nice big loop. Put it on there. Move on to the next one. And keep pulling on your working yarn. Okay, so now we've got 2 rows on here with the elongated stitch or the drop stitch. Keep repeating this for a full scarf, but now let's bind off for the sample purposes. We're going to knit over the first 2 stitches here, and this is if we're going to bind off, and take the second loop over and put it on top for the first and bind off. So knit the bottom over the top, move the 1 over the 2 and tighten it up, and then we're going to knit stitch 3, lift that up, move it over to 2, and lift that up and over, and move it on to 3, and knit stitch 4. And this is just if you're finishing up. Move that over, move it on to 3, and lift the bottom over the top. And then you're just going to wrap around one more time and lift that on over. And this is where we're going to cut our yarn, and then just pull it on through. Okay, and now you have got the rest of it bound off. So once you've bound off, you can take the edge of these together and sew them together, as in this infinity scarf that I have made. Otherwise, you can sew in your tail ends with a large-eyed tapestry needle or use your fingers. If you turn this with the wrong sides together or the right sides together, either way, you can take your tail and just weave it in through these stitches. Just go through the 2 stitches that are together, go towards the back to the front and go around to the front again, and just continue this on. And I have videos on how to sew some seams together, so it doesn't need to be quite that difficult. Make a knot at the end and you're done. Thank you again for joining us at GoodKnitKisses. I hope you have fun with your Zippy, and let me know where you got yours down below. Have a great day and happy looming. Bye-bye.